if you would please call the roll.
Director Sloss,
I'm here.
Director Howard, Director Pacho,
Here.
Director Guzman, Director Markowitz, Director Taylor. Chair, we do not have a quorum. However, we can proceed with non-action items, the discussion item only.
Okay, so we have our CFO, Gray Lewis, going to give us a presentation. Please, Gray.
Thank you for the opportunity to present an update on our financials. We're staying busy. The year-end audit is going on right now, working with Postal Wait, Netterville. So no major issues. We just answer questions and stay on track for the June deadline. So that's going on. These are the February results. Total systems operating revenues with 21.9 million. The drainage tax about 300,000. That starts hitting in March. We received that last month. And then on the expense side, 25.5 million for all systems. So less than budget, primarily on the timing of expenses. So we'll continue to monitor with similar results at the beginning of last year. But move on, the cash collections continues to be a primary focus area. We spoke last month about the importance of enforcement, and we have multiple different strategies and tactics we're pursuing. We'll talk in some more details in a couple slides, but the March did rebound 23.8 million, closer to the average we were seeing all of 2022, actually a little bit above. So that was good to see. On the dashboard, I want to just highlight for the committee, line 9, the days cash on hand at the end of February was 162 for water, 213 for sewer. Both of those are above the necessary targets and above last month's figures. On the bottom 3 lines, I wanted to just highlight these are our volumetric measures on our collections. So line 25, new payment plans, 1,150 during the month of February. The next one, disconnect notices sent out over 7,000 during the month of February, and then orders for disconnect at 900. So each of these are showing that high amount of volume as we pursue the large amount of customers that are behind. They're actually a little less than same time last year, but the challenge of what we're looking into is creating capacity, particularly on the water inspectors side, to do turnoffs. So they work Monday through Thursday for turnoffs, but they also do investigations and following up on customer questions about meters, or if a meter got replaced, they need to go back and examine the meter. Those same inspectors are doing that. So I've been working closely with Renee's team in terms of creating that capacity to do additional turnoff work.
Ask a question. Sorry, go ahead, please.
Maybe this is not the right time. How was the decision to not collect from those landlords who have not paid? How does that impact
Yeah, we haven't
collections?
made that
Multifamily?
Yeah.
decision. We
multifamily.
still pursue them, with different avenues. So we'll still be contacting them, calling them, pursuing any measures. In some cases, the legal has been involved, and directly we can issue a lawsuit for unpaid bills. So we still will continue to pursue them.
So
But is that
basically what's
is
at
that
risk here?
negatively? Is it going to negatively impact collections?
Well, I mean, indirectly, yes. There's about $4 million of outstanding debt associated with multifamily.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's what you're talking about. We merely slowed down the process. We demonstrated that here's the challenge. If we shut multifamily units off, the tenants will not have water.
Right.
And they might be surprised that is the case. So we've highlighted that challenge and the dilemma we're facing. And that's why we haven't done it for a couple of years,
Right,
several years
right.
actually. And what we heard from the council city council members that there may be other solutions that may be more amicable, that keeps the tenants serviced, but then we get our bills paid. So maybe a bridge payment from the city or whatever. So that conversation is happening now. That's why we kind of backed off, but it's not entirely off the table, because that's the only tool we have. If other more amicable solutions are found.
Okay.
I hope that makes sense.
But we have to be clear, which it is, and you made it so, and we've heard this before, we're expected to collect our past due receivables. And if the tools that we have historically used, and are the only ones known to us at this point in time, to at least on the multifamily things, if those tools aren't available to us, we can't be expected to collect as we should. Can't have it both ways.
Right. I mean, ultimately,
Record.
the burden.
Show it this way you were.
Yeah, the burden was put on us that the tenants are gonna suffer, which they may.
Yeah.
But and we're the ones who are causing it versus other people stepping in and finding a solution. So
We're not the ones causing it. There's no question
we're
about
not
that.
causing it.
I mean, we're not the guys swinging the hammer. We may be that.
But if you read in the paper, you would think that we are the villain in this case,
They're not.
not the landlords who are refusing to pay.
You know, if our people get parking tickets, they say it's something to do with the sewage and water board.
Yeah.
It's an individual decision where to park. It has nothing to do with the water board.
Right.
I had another question on here, and that's line 17. We have a substantially lower receivables net of allowance. Is that due to collections? I'm delighted to see that improvement.
yeah,
But what's that? Can you give us some light on that?
Yeah, the collections over the past year, have been improved, and that's shown, the uncollected ratio, line 20 is down to 1%. So when we look at the trend over a 12-month period, we're doing much better. So we're heading in the right direction. It's just lots of grounds to cover, lots of individual customers that are behind, but improved definitely over this time last year.
Oh, it's dramatic.
Yeah.
It's about halved.
It's the normal collection procedure
Yeah.
that we're allowed to do.
Right.
Just go ahead to the debt obligations. This was just normal activity in the month of February with our regular drawdowns on our existing loans. And then on the next slide, on the capital spend for the month, we spent 24.9 million in capital disbursements in February. We did additional 585,000 approximately of new appropriations. So we continue to pursue those. On the grants, we received about 6.7 million, split pretty evenly between the public assistance and the JIRR program. And we did, just to let the committee know, Ron's team got to do a tour for FEMA last week, got to show them the water hammer, the Claiborne pumping station, and the power complex. And it was a nice event just because the Claiborne is open now. Got to show them all the good work, putting the dollars to use. They provided some good feedback and seemed impressed.
Great.
On the customer experience slide, just to highlight, over 40,000 customers were served in February. The call wait time was down to 7 minutes. Had spiked up in the last couple of months, so that's good. And then if I go flip on to collections.
Sorry, just going back just a second. I'm sorry, but going back to that, I don't know if we've asked for it, but is there readily available data from other utilities on wait times and that kind of thing that we could look at?
I'm sorry, what is it?
Is it or like Pacific Gas and Electric or anybody in the world?
Standard is.
Are there some standards that we could take a look at, see how we do on that at some point?
Yeah,
I know you don't have it with you right now, but I'm just thinking it's,
yeah. I think for a call center with similarly number of consumer accounts, 140,000. So we'll check on that. Work with Renee's team. So get back to the committee there. The number of payments were up in February, total of 96,727. And then this next slide shows our breakdown of nearly 120,000 bills issued in the month. Throughout our billing groups, we have 20 billing cycles we bill. So I think we are seeing positive results in terms of alternative meter reading strategy, and then the outsourced bill print and delivery.
And I noticed we're very close to the 50%, which is our target, right?
Yeah, that's what we would expect with the alternating, and then within the 50%, getting
Right.
like 96, 97%.
So your estimate, your opinion is that that's working?
Yes, yeah.
I don't know how many people follow what
Consistency
happens here,
factor.
but, you know, it seems in retrospect, it was an obvious solution that nobody thought of until you all thought about it, but,
So we're at 96% of the 50% that we're reading, are aimed to be read.
right.
So there's that 4% that end up being estimated. So it's not 50-50, it's probably 51-49 or something like that.
And the 4%, we have a way to handle that, we see to it, they get it next month, or,
Yes, I mean, that's the idea, or attempt to revisit, because now we have more cushion with the staff that we
Right.
can reassign. So,
thank you.
Yeah, definitely contributing to the better consistency. And then next on the aging report, just to go to a little more details. So there in the middle, the total receivables past due is 61.6 million, up about 1% from January. So we saw additional in commercial and multifamily, so it went up, but that the residential went down by 364,000 to get to the net overall 1%. There was 3,862 accounts in dispute, a little less than 3% of our total active accounts. And the average days to to complete investigation in February of 93, which is down from 116. So, all in all, I think about the overall strategies and tactics and approaches that we're doing with this. It starts with our people and the capacity we talked about with water inspectors, creating more people positions to be able to do that work. On the people side, we're interviewing for a collections manager to work with the billing team to really oversee all the processes that we're doing, and then also considering a key account manager to narrow in on specific groups of accounts. And like we said earlier, we're pursuing all customers, focusing on the largest balances. That's what we've been doing. We've had a top 100 focus group for over this past year, really. So we're continuing with that. So I'm leading that effort, working with Renee, and also working closely with the legal team. Another thing, since we met last month, we've looked a little closer at the deposit schedules that we currently have for new accounts. We spoke with our rate consultant, trying to get some guidance on what other utilities, typically seeing at least like a 3 months of bills, or at least a first month and a last month concept, to have additional deposit on hand for those new accounts, so that we have a little bit more security.
We can do that without the council or any of that, is that something we can do on our own?
Yeah, our plan was, we have a rules and regulations documents drafted that would include the deposit schedule. So we'll provide that to the committee next month in draft form to get feedback, because this is a document that has all types of the customer-facing interactions and policies that team has been working on, so that would be included there.
I'm overloaded with questions this morning, I
Yeah,
apologize. Joe, we got one more. So a commercial account, I guess it doesn't make a difference whether it's commercial or residential, multifamily is a special situation, but a commercial account, how does the timeline work? So they get a bill, they don't pay it for 60 days, then they're over 60 days, and they haven't paid the second one, and they got, I guess, 30 days after that. How long does it take before we actually, so then just quickly, what happens?
Yeah, it's the same timeline. So after 60 days, a delinquent notice would go out saying you're eligible for turn off, you need to pay. They still don't pay, then you have a 10-day letter indicating you're now going to be scheduled for a shut off, so that provides them another 10-day advance notice to come in and pay. If they still don't pay, then we issue a removal letter to remove the meter. So you're getting like 60 days, 70, 80, 90. So there's still close to 90 days prior to that action being taken for them to come in to pay.
And then when they say, I don't know this, you all are wrong, then they enter into a dispute process.
Yeah, if there's a formal bill dispute, then that takes them outside of those, days we're talking about, and we have to address that, but it's, just a matter of process and following it, being consistent, and, working with the customers, whatever the concern may be.
Some of them seem to go on for such a long time, and I guess there's a lot of ways they could game the system if they want to, but
Right. Yeah.
thank you, that's really what I want to know, though.
Better process and just consistency, so been working closely with Renee and everyone, Yolanda as well, so pursuing that. The last thing I just want to mention, something that a vendor on the software vendor has talked to us about specific payment plan software that's out there that has been successful with government debts in other communities. So communities like ours, we have 25,000 customers that, they are targeted in the sense that they're using more modern technology with texting and notifications to the customer to allow them to sign up through a special app and software that would get their phone number and then allow them to pay, once immediately upon entering into an arrangement, and then have some flexibility on their next 3 payment. If they got up to the payment date and they wanted 2 more days, they would have the option to ask for that and sort of automatically be granted a little more flexibility. This is sort of completely opposite of the way the old school payment arrangements are just rigid, that we set it up in the system. If they don't pay on that date, then that's one miss, and if they don't pay again, then the payment plan would just kind of dissolve and you start over the process all over again. With this, particular software, vendors are they've studied consumer payment behavior pattern and knowing that, if you allow a little flexibility, you have better overall success rates. So it's something, we're looking at and think it might be a good potential solution to work with that, because it would sit on top of our customer information system and interact with CSM, because we have to exchange the data back and forth and receive those payments from a separate payment plan software vendor. So these are all, I think it's a long runway in a way because of the many years that led to this, but each one of these things, being consistent and pursuing these is making a difference. Just a matter of continuing and I think staying the course. So, any other questions on receivables?
Wait, what's the time frame on that overlay software, whatever you call it, that sits on top of the?
Hopefully in the next few months, we're checking on a potential state contract, but there's there are potential to bid, but it's it's a pretty specific service. It's not going to be tailored. It doesn't need to be tailored. It's just more of a off-the-shelf product that we could use. So hopefully
It's got to be integrated with our stuff, so right?
Yeah, we would work with Coxdale for any type.
It's on state contract now.
That's what the vendor indicated. Yes.
So that's a quick deal if you want to pick it up, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the idea.
The whole-
So we want to make sure it's all right and approved by our special counsel.
How do they get paid?
There's a success fee percentage of payments recovered. So
Significantly less than a collection agency, for example, and by far. And it's more amicable and more friendly approach,
Yeah.
but it seems to bring huge results to other utilities, so it doesn't hurt to try it. Very, very minimal cost with high
Well, I think it sounds like
high
it's great.
payoff. Yeah.
Is it true we have 30% of our payments are people walking and coming in by hand?
yeah, it's a high amount. I haven't seen the exact numbers, but yeah, certainly a segment of the customer base is used to doing that and continues to. But as your population, the aging occurs. Newer generations prefer
Online.
different methods.
Yeah.
So
I'm just thinking, gee whiz, that's so many people and so much effort. And if there's a magical way to solve that problem, it would help everybody.
So that's all the kind of formal comments on the February ahead. Happy to answer any other questions.
Thank you very much. You got anything, Joe?
No.
What do we do now? Jump to the end?
Yeah, we can adjourn, but we don't have we can't do
We
a
can't have a
motion
motion
because,
adjourn.
yeah, so it's it.
So that's it? Why don't we turn the cameras off?
Yeah.
I don't know when they're off.